Gary Eisenberg is an immigration law expert who's joining me in studio today to try and help us make some sense of South Africa's new immigration laws. Thank you very much for joining us.
Sure, pleasure.
Now, there have been some sweeping changes to South Africa's immigration law, but let's have a look at the particular story that's making news today. If we have a look at the front page of the Cape Argus, we've got a story here of a family that have adopted two South African boys. They're French, but because the children's papers haven't come through on time, and because of the new visa regulations surrounding their entry into the country, they may be forced to leave the country and leave their newly adopted sons behind. It's a bit of a nightmare. Now, is this the type of thing that we can expect?
We have two wheels on this chariot. The one is a very dysfunctional law that was published on the 22nd of May. It came into force on the 26th of May with one business day's notice. And the other wheel is departmental inefficiency. Departmental inefficiency has been something that people have been complaining about for many years. It's gotten worse as intellectual capital has hemorrhaged from the department, with people taking retirement packages from the old school, as it were. New trainees, people with no experience, have taken over the bureaucracy. And this has had a tremendous effect, tremendous impact on the amount of time officials take to render their services by issuing unabridged birth certificates. Talking about the story, for example, how long it takes to issue an unabridged birth certificate could take a year. People need to travel. In order for people, for foreigners or South Africans to travel with their children, minor children, they need unabridged birth certificates. Some people have to travel for family reasons and business reasons and so on. The department's slowness robs the ordinary person of the wherewithal to live a normal life, leaving the country and coming back with their families intact. So a small, insignificant delay on the issuance of an unabridged birth certificate could break up a family. And I don't think the Department of Home Affairs understands the impact of its actions on people doing their ordinary things. With regard to the law that was published on the 22nd of May, there's a great deal of legal problem. The entire regulatory regime, by the way, is under attack in the Western Cape High Court as we speak. I don't think that the minister, as he was supposed, well, the previous minister, Naledi Pandor, as she was supposed to do, consulted the Immigration Advisory Board, as she had to do by law, on the formulation of her immigration regulations. And I think as a consequence of not going through the consultative process, these immigration regulations are pig's breakfast. They are paralyzed. Since the 26th of May, up until the current date, the 9th of June, not a single application for a temporary or permanent residence permit has been able to be filed with the Department of Home Affairs. So South Africa today, it's a historical first. It's probably the only country in the entire world with no operational immigration system. Perhaps the South Sudan, Nigeria, and other developing countries have workable immigration systems. South Africa has a paralyzed immigration system as a consequence.
But what has caused this stall?
It's very difficult to try and uncover why the Minister of Home Affairs, previous Minister of Home Affairs, made regulations half-baked. For example, if a foreigner wished to obtain a business permit to invest $1 billion in South Africa, in other words, to come and reside here and run her business, it's not possible. The minister neglected to publish, together with the immigration regulations, the amount or the level of foreign direct investment the foreigner is supposed to invest before being able to acquire a business permit. A retiree can't apply for a retired person permit because the level of income a retiree needs to show in order to apply for and obtain a retired person permit has not been published. A person cannot file any type of application because, according to the regulations, they need to pay a filing fee. The filing fees have not yet been published. So the whole immigration system has stalled because the previous minister and her advisors have failed to follow due process and give it the slightest thorough thought.